Photographers everywhere are at least a little bit freaked out about AI, and instead of replying to every single anti AI Facebook comment that I see, I'm just gonna make this video. Honestly, I get it because AI is new, we're freaked out about it, we don't really know how it's going to impact our businesses or society in the long run, and it's changing the way that we do things every day with how quickly it's moving. But before we all collectively freak out about AI and become anti AI people, I want us to get the facts straight first because there's a lot of misinformation and wrong people out there. A little bit about me. My name's Emily Kim. Before I was a full-time brand photographer, I was a software engineer at Apple. I have a degree in computer science. That obviously does not make me an AI expert, but I have done the research. I didn't read the white papers, but I did enough of the research to be able to tell you a lot of what people are saying about AI is not true. It is just simply not how the technology works. Here's a little bit of proof. I thought it would be appropriate to wear my Apple sweatshirt for this talk. Here we go. The biggest argument that I see when people are talking about AI is they're saying things like, oh, AI is stealing from artists. Here's a Facebook comment. AI steals from artists. These images are quote unquote generated from real artwork. Respectfully, these images are stolen from artists and all graphics and visual art is protected by copyright, etc., etc. This is not how it works. Let's get into it. I feel like what people are imagining is that AI just like saves your JPEGs in this database. And when you say, oh, I want someone walking through a field, it pulls out of this like AI database of images in fields or photos in fields. That's actually not how it works. So I want to show you what's actually going on. So how people think AI generation works, like I said, is, oh, AI looks at your images, these are some photos that I've taken, and then think, oh, well, I am just gonna take this and save it in my AI database, and then I'm gonna tell it to put me in the image instead of my client, and then you're gonna get something like this. Sorry for the jump scare. Clearly, it still has a long way to go. I didn't do a ton of prompting to make it actually look like me, but there you go. Now, this is a really simplified explanation, okay? If you're a techie, don't come at me saying like, oh, well, actually, I'm not here for it, okay? I'm giving you a very simplified explanation of what it is. What's happening is AI, these image generation models, they're training on the images that they see. They're not actually saving your JPEG and putting it in the special like Emily Kim file, right? That's not happening. What's happening is it's observing the patterns that it sees in the images and making note of them. So denim color, it's outside, there's dead grass or wheatgrass if you like that kind of look, which obviously I do. Boots, bag, we're inside with white walls, gray wall, denim fabric, florals, pinboards, blah, blah, blah. It's taking in all of this information and then it's turning it into data. It's not actually saving the image. What the models are doing is it's taking these data points and saving it as the patterns that it understands. So when people say AI is trained on your photos, they're not saving your photos and just slapping on a different subject or ripping the background out of your photo and slapping on another one. That is not at all what is happening or how it works. So each of these images is converted into just data, like numbers, letters, just data soup, if you will. And then the data gets passed around through all of these different layers. And there are billions upon billions of images and data points, honestly, probably trillions at this point. So it's taking in this data and then it's turning it into what is called latent space, but you could just think about that as the learned patterns. Learned patterns being like, this is what denim looks like. This is what soft light looks like. This is what sunlight looks like. This is what a white wall looks like. It's taking all of these data points, billions upon billions upon billions of data points, and it's deciding and learning these patterns. Once it has looked at your image, it just tosses it out. It's not saving it anywhere. It's like, oh, this image had a white wall on it. This had soft sunlight on it, okay? That's what's happening there. And then when somebody goes to generate a new image, it's taking the information from the billions upon billions upon billions of photos that it's looked at. It's recognizing patterns. And if I say, oh, I want a picture of a sunset with a lady walking on a beach, it is generating that image pixel by pixel. It's creating something brand new based on the billions of inputs that it has. So I know as artists, we hate to hear it, but we're not special. It's not stealing our work specifically and pulling out an Emily Kim photo out of the archives. That's not what's happening. Okay, and I know the obvious next question or objection thought is, but I didn't give AI permission to use my photos. Okay, well, I raise you a second question. Did Leonardo da Vinci give you permission to look at the Mona Lisa? Did he give you permission to be inspired by it? Just like, did all of these people who post their photos on Pinterest give you permission to add these things to your mood board, right? I know there's so much that we could get into here. There's lots of weeds here, but at the end of the day, AI is not the artist, it is the tool. There is nothing stopping me from going on Pinterest and recreating a photo exactly as I see it. I could even grab the same model, make the same pose, go to the spot at the same time of day and create the same photo. And I think a lot of us would probably consider that to be plagiarism, right? A lot of us would be like, oh, you can't do that. Like, you're copying someone. Even that is kind of a gray area, but the way AI learns is very, very similar to how a human learns. It's what it was modeled after. They're called like neural networks for a reason. Neural brain, like how do people learn? It's the same thing. It's looking at all of the things around us, pulling inspiration from everything it sees, and then creating something new out of it. How many times have you gone on Pinterest and been like, oh, I really like this lighting style, or I really like this posing, or I really like these colors. I want to incorporate a piece of this into my work. That is what makes us unique as artists, is we all have these different inputs. We all are inspired by different art. We're inspired by different things and people and colors and whatever. And from there, we can create our own artwork. And AI is doing the same thing. And not only that, but AI still needs to be prompted by a person to create artwork. So if you think about it, let's say a painter, for example, copies another painter. You don't blame the paintbrush. You see two similar pictures and one is copying the other. You don't blame the camera, you blame the photographer. So instead of holding AI, this nebulous tech tool, accountable, what you need to be holding accountable is the person using the AI, just like the person using the paintbrush. Just like someone producing music, for example. In the music industry, how many examples have we seen of people sampling other songs, right? It's so prevalent in pop culture. There is still obviously a line there, but we don't get mad at like GarageBand or whatever the heck music producers use. We get mad at the person who made the music, the person who's actually replicating the copyrighted work or doing the actual plagiarism. Of course, there is still a possibility that AI can make something very similar to something that's already out there, but I can already do that on my own. How many times have you created a photo and you saw something super duper similar, but you're like, oh, there's no way they copied me, or maybe you accidentally made something that was super similar to someone else and you've never seen that work before. It can happen. We don't need to be pointing fingers at like the one time AI made this thing that looks super duper similar to this other thing, because that can happen all the time. And more than likely, it was probably the person prompting AI to create that image or that photo that made it look like that. And I get it. I know it feels weird for your work to be part of this massive data set that you didn't necessarily consent to. But the way I see it is it's the same as just posting my stuff on Instagram. I post it on Instagram. You can look at it. Other people can go look at it. They can pull inspiration from it. I can't tell you how many times I've seen my work on Pinterest pinned to other people's mood boards. It's kind of the same thing. For whatever reason, we're mostly okay with when a human gets inspired by us. But when it's AI, all of a sudden, oh, no, you can't do that. And I get it. It does feel weird. But at the end of the day, I really think we need to take the emotional bias out of it, because it's technology doing it instead of a person, and that feels weird and that feels unknown, and I get it, but at the end of the day, it's kind of the same. So I still want us to apply the same level of scrutiny to AI as we would, a random photographer out there copying somebody else's photos, but blame the artist, not the tool. Whoever's using the AI, blame them, not AI itself. Okay, now the next thing that I hear is, oh, well, AI is going to steal our clients, it's going to put us out of business. There's a lot to unpack here. I get it's scary, but here's a different way that I want us to look at this. You know how you laugh about those random client inquiries that you get of people who are saying like, oh, I just need one photo, or, oh, it's not going to take that long. I just need this one thing. I just need this one thing. We all have them. Those are the people that are going to be using AI. They probably weren't going to hire you anyway. We're complaining about them all the time, and now all of a sudden you think AI is going to take over your high-end premium clients. That's not what's going to happen. So if we look here, we've got the DIY crowd, right? People who are like, oh, I just need a couple of snaps here and there. Your camera's really good. Will you just click the button for me? Or, oh, will you just set up my phone for me and take a couple of snaps here? Those are the people that are going to be using AI first. AI photography is going to make photography more accessible to people who probably weren't gonna buy from you anyway. And honestly, I think that is a huge win because if photography is more accessible, they will start using these AI photos more. If they start using these AI photos more, they're gonna see, oh, actually, this is not cutting it anymore. I want something different. I want that better experience. And then they're going to go hire a photographer. Okay. So that's the first thing. You can let AI help these people that you weren't going to take photos of anyway. So we're not like taking away from anyone. We're just giving resources to someone that maybe doesn't have the funds for photography right now. If you've watched any of my other YouTube videos, you know that what I am selling is not just photos, but an experience. A lot of my clients come to me and they leave with better confidence. They leave feeling really good about themselves. They leave feeling pampered. And AI is not, at least not yet, going to be able to provide that experience. And just like there are some people that are like, oh, I'm just going to use AI for everything, there's some people out there who are like, no, I'm not going to use AI for anything. I want me to be in the photos. Those people are out there, and those are the types of people that I want to work with. I don't know about you, but that's who I want to work with. As AI photos become more and more popular, it's going to flood our social platforms, and we're going to get tired of it as humans. I know it's getting dangerously close to looking like pretty good photos, but we're going to get tired of seeing it. We're going to want to see more authentic connection. If you think about handmade goods, right? Handmade mugs, blankets. Why am I blanking on handmade things? I like handmade mugs a lot. I can go buy a mug from Target, but I still hold a lot of value for handmade goods, things made with someone's hands. Someone actually put their heart and soul into it. Like AI can generate music now. Nobody wants to listen to AI music. People want to listen to music made by a person because we like their story. We like where they came from. It's going to be the same thing with photos. I have another point here, and it might be hard to hear, but if your entire business model can be undercut by a free app, you might have a business model problem and not a photography problem. I know that being a photographer is not just clicking a button, but we really need to go above and beyond to deliver a brand experience and show people that we are the photographer for them. And that goes beyond just the photos. It's the whole experience of talking to you, of working with you. This is where we really get into personal branding and why having a personal brand is so important, especially with all of the stuff going on with AI nowadays. I know that when people reach out to me, they want to work with me, not just because of my work. That's definitely a huge piece of it, but because they like my vibe, they like my energy, they like what I bring to the table, my past experience and my knowledge. This is why people book me. It's not just because of the photos. I keep saying just in quotes because I know it's not easy to be a really great photographer, but it goes beyond the deliverables. Even if we're just thinking about our work and our style, I know photographers hold so much weight on your style and your artistic eye and all of these things, but at the end of the day, we all kind of provide a very similar service. If we all are kind of similar in the end result, what's going to make us stand apart? It's going to be your personal brand. It's going to be how you communicate, your brand presence, your vibe, your attitude. Nobody can replace you. Nobody can replace the experience of actually working with a photographer. Moving forward, I think this is what we really need to lean into is the experience. What is it like to be photographed? Even if you're scared to be in front of the camera, why should you do it? It's a huge confidence booster. It's unlike really anything else out there. You can be vulnerable, but also be really confident. It's a very unique experience. That's my whole personal branding spiel. I have a whole separate video you can watch after this if you want to get my take on how to get started in building a personal brand. Now I want to talk a little bit about how we can use AI as photographers without selling our souls. So some of the obvious answers, if you've been keeping up with the Adobe updates, we have generative AI, which saves so much time when it comes to what I used to clone out or removing things from the background. It makes it so much easier. We have AI powered masking tools. All photo editing stuff is made a lot easier with AI. Outside of the obvious things, some of the maybe not as obvious ways to use AI are using it to help you plan photo shoots, doing location scouting research. You can ask ChatGPT or whatever AI tool you use for types of locations you're looking for. Looking for flower fields? Go ask it, see what comes up. When it comes to image generation, you can actually use it to create mood boards. So instead of searching on Pinterest for something, if you've got it in your noggin, you can have AI create the image for you. And you could even use that for some composites that you're making. Swap out different backgrounds. You can use AI to help help you in your photography business in that way. I also use it to reply to client emails. If, you get a difficult email every once in a while and you don't know how to respond, put it into ChatGPT. I'm not advocating that you copy and paste it into your response, but it can give you a really, really good starting point. And I love doing that because what I would do in the past was I would just sit there and stare at a blank screen for hours on end. Now at least I can have a starting point in how I want to respond to them. Okay, and this, I don't really know where else this goes in the video, but I feel like I can hear somebody ask me already, oh, but Emily, what about the environmental impact of AI? It uses a lot of energy. Yes, that's true, but you know what else uses a lot of energy? Flying, driving, watching Netflix, all of these other things. And AI is the future. It's not going anywhere. I personally am of the opinion that the progressions in AI will help us lead to solving the energy problem. Anyway, that's my opinion on it. So all of that to say, I think we should look at AI as a tool for photographers. I don't think we should be scared of it. And if you're not already using it, I would really encourage you to start because it's here to stay. And the more on board you can get, the faster you can learn it, the more likely you are to stay ahead of the game. Photography has had all kinds of technological advances over time. We went from film cameras to DSLRs to point and shoot to disposable, or that's not the right order, whatever, to iPhones, whatever. And every single time I find some relic on the internet of someone being like, oh, this is gonna put me out of business. And it's fine. We're just evolving. We evolve with technology. AI is going to produce new jobs, new opportunities for us, but you have to learn how to use it in order to see that opportunity. Every single time there's been a new technology out there, photographers have been made better for it. I would say the biggest threat to your business is not AI, but it's doing nothing. It's refusing to learn, refusing to acknowledge or use it. I'm not saying you need to be an AI expert, but I invite you to stay curious and be willing to adapt and evolve, because if you can't do that as a business owner, it's going to be really hard to make it in the long term. I would love to know your thoughts on this video, what you thought before watching it, maybe if your opinion has changed. Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one.